Hello everyone! Welcome to our English lesson. Today we are going to observe the word 10 from Abay Kunanbayev's Book of Words. Before starting the lesson, let's get introduced to our lesson objectives. At the end of this lesson, learners will be able to independently master the basic idea of the great poet's work, develop students' activity, vocabulary, determining the intrinsic value of the poet's utterance through group work, and cultivate the ability to appreciate each other and to work in respect for each other. And now please draw attention to this table to get a general idea about Abay Kunanbayev. Match the numbers with the events. Check what you know about Abay Kunanbayev's life. So, he was born in Semey in 1845. He died at the age of 58. He translated more than 50 works of Russian writers. He started writing poems at the age of 12. He has got 45 Book of Words in his collection. Okay, well done. I think that you have called to memory your background knowledge about Abay. Abay Kunanbayev was a great poet, writer, and public figure, the founder of modern Kazakh written literature. His major works is the Book of Words, Qara Сөздер, a philosophic treatise and collection of poems where he encourages his fellow Kazakhs to embrace education, literacy, and good major character in order to escape poverty, enslavement, and corruption. From combined 45 words, today we will try to understand Abay's word 10. Dear students, before reading the text, please pay attention to these new words and make notes of them. Heir, a son to provide for his parents in their old age and to pray for them after their death. Burden, to give someone problems, trouble, or responsibilities. Bestow, to give something as an honor or present. Scoundrel, a person who treats other people very badly and has no moral principles. Doom, death, destruction, or any very bad situation that cannot be avoided. Decrepit, in very bad condition because of being old or not having been cared for. Dotage, old age, especially with some loss or mental ability. Livestock, animals and birds that are kept on a farm such as cow. Squander, to waste money. Revile, to criticize someone strongly. Condone, to accept or allow behavior that is wrong. Obstinate lad, unreasonably determined young boy. Underhand, done secretly and sometimes dishonestly. Persevere, to continue making an effort to do or achieve something. Pilgrimage, a visit to a place that is considered special. Anguish, extreme unhappiness caused by physical or mental suffering. Swagger, to walk or behave a way that shows that you are very confident. Frit away, to waste money. Brag, to speak too proudly about what you have done or what you own. Affluence, the state of having a lot of money. Impoverished, very poor. Stoop, to bend the top half of the body, forward and down, and so on. And now, students, let's begin to read the text. People pray to God to send them a child. What does a man need a child for? They say that one ought to leave an heir, a son, to provide for his parents in their old age and to pray for them after their death. Is that all? Living in heir, what does it mean? Are you afraid there will be no one to look after you properly? But why should you care about things you will leave behind? What are you sorry to leave them to other people? What kind of treasure have you gained to regret them so much? A good child is a joy, but a bad one is a burden. Who knows what kind of child God will bestow on you? Or haven't you had enough of the humiliation you have had to swallow all your life? Or have you committed too few misdeeds? Why are you so eager to have a child, to rear yet another scoundrel and doom him to the self-same humiliations? You want your son to pray for you after your death, but you have done good in your lifetime. Who will not utter prayers for the repose of your soul? And if you have done only evil, what will be the use of your son's prayers? Will he perform good deeds in your stead? Those you have failed to accomplish. If you beg for a child who will experience the joys of the next world, it means that you wish him an early death, but you want him to secure for yourself the joys of this world. Then can a Kazakh beget a son who, on growing manhood, will show care and concern for his parents and protect them from suffering? Can such a people and a father like you raise a worthy son of this kind? You want him to feed and clothe you in your decrepit old age. Vain hope too. First of all, you will live to reach your dotage. Second, will your son grow up too merciful as to care for you in your old age? If you happen to own livestock, there will always be someone ready to look after you. If you have none, who knows who will provide for you, and how, and who knows whether your son will increase your wealth or squander what you have gained by your labor. Well, supposing God has heard your prayers and given you a son, will you manage to educate him well? No, you will not. Your own sins will become compounded by those of your son. From the very outset of his life, you will be telling him lies, promising him now this, now that. And you will be glad when you manage to deceive him. Then whom can you blame when your son grows up a liar? You will teach him bad language, and to revile other people, you will condone his misdeeds. Now, I don't touch this obstinate lad and encourage his cheekness. For this schooling you choose a mullah whom you pay little just for teach him to read and write. You teaching him to be cunning and underhand. You make him suspicious of his peers and graft on bad inclinations. Is that your upbringing, and you expect kindness from a son like that? In the same way, people pray to God for wealth. What does man need wealth for? You have prayed to God. Yes, you have, and God has given. You won't take. He has endowed you with strength to work and prosper. But do you use this for honest labor? No. God granted you the power to learn, a mind capable of assimilating knowledge, but who knows what you use it for? Who will fail to prosper if he works hard, perseveres without tiring, and makes good use of his mind? But you don't need that. You pray to get rich by intimidating, cheating, and begging from other people. What kind of prayer is that? It is simply plunder and beggary on the part of a person who has lost his conscience and honor. Supposing you have chosen this path and gained possession of livestock. Well, use it to get an education, if not for yourself, then for your son. There can be neither faith nor well-being without an education. Without learning, no prayers or fasts or pilgrimage will achieve their purpose. I have yet to see a person who, having acquired wealth by dishonest means, has put it to good use. Ill-gotten gains are likewise ill spent, and nothing remains of such wealth save the utterance of disappointment, anger, and anguish of the soul. While he has wealth, he will boast and swagger, having frittered it away. He will brag about his former affluence. Impoverished, he will stop to begging. And now, students, it's practice time. Read the text again and try to answer the questions from the text, including your own ideas, in task 1. 1. Why does Abay say that more attention should be paid to the upbringing of children? A good child is a joy, but a bad one is a burden, which means that it is the responsibility of parents. What kind of person will their children be? Second question. Why don't we listen to Abay? We say that one ought to leave an heir or a son to provide for his parents in their old age and to pray for them after their death. Third question. Why do you think some children have become blind? Blind in the mind, not physically. Some people will teach their children a bad language, and to revile other people, they will condone their misdeeds. For their schooling, they choose a mullah, whom they pay little, just to teach them to read and write. Teaching their children to be cunning and underhand, they make them suspicious of their peers and graft on bad inclinations and so on. Why has our love for our parents been replaced by a mobile phone or the internet? It all depends on your upbringing to grow up your son so merciful as to care for you in your old age, and also it's a big question whether your son will increase your wealth or squander what you have gained by your labor. Fifth question. Why is faith in folk wisdom lost? People are not brought up with it anymore. Why is it impossible to be involved in self-education by being engaged with reading a work of art? Self-education by applying a work of art is the skill that will help you stay ahead and feel better. Great job, everyone! Task 2. Complete the gaps from the text and describe the idea of the given lines with one sentence. A good child is a joy, but a bad one is a burden. Who knows what kind of a child God will bestow on you? Or haven't you had enough of the humiliation you have? You have had to swallow all your life. Abay Kunambayev from Word 10, the Book of Words. Fantastic. And can you describe the idea of the given lines with one sentence? You may answer. If your child is well behaved, that is your result. But if your child is ill-mannered, then that is your result too. Task 3. Describe the qualities characteristic of a good and a bad child. Qualities of a good child: merciful, increase your wealth, to provide for his parents in their old age, to pray for them after their death, and so on. Qualities of a bad child: no prayers or fasts, without learning, squander what you have gained, and uneducated. Students at home to write an essay on the topic parenting is everyone's business. Write between 100 and 180 words. And now I want you to get some feedback on the lesson through. Sandwich method. Please express your attitude to the lesson and give self-assessment. How can you use today's learning in different subjects? How do you feel about your work today? What have you learned today? What were the weaknesses of your work? How much progress have you made in this lesson? Now I still need to work on. I've improved in. Today I learned. What did you like about today's lesson? That's all for today. Our lesson is over. I hope you have learned useful piece of information for yourself and you will benefit from it in the future. See you next time. Goodbye.